What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. And could Zcash be going to zero? I know what you're saying, Rabid. What is going on now? So, if you remember back a little while ago, we made this video. What happened to Zcash? Emergency fork. That was a little over a month ago. It's saying about a month ago. But if you guys remember that, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Things should soon be coming to light. So I know it does sound crazy. Zcash going to zero. Now, this is something we just say if there's turmoil, there's probably going to be a dump. No crypto really goes to zero. Even if they rug pull to everything, that's still 0.000, whatever. It's not zero. But anyway, so Zcash has kind of been going down a little bit recently. And you're probably like, okay, what's going on? Let's just come into here, kind of look at the price. You can see about a week ago, it started this kind of downhill decline. We're currently sitting at around $462. So what could be causing this? Obviously, as we know, the way crypto works all the time pretty much is people buy the rumors, sell the news, nothing new there. And this is pretty much what's happening here as a hard fork just went through and the dump happened. It started happening before the hard fork. And what's going to be going on here is let's kind of talk about Zcash and what it's all about first. So by default, Zcash isn't a privacy coin. A lot of people think Zcash is a major privacy coin and it's private all the time, blah, 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 and, things like that. Well, guess what? It is not privacy. It's only private if you choose to make it private. By default, it is not private. So if you want privacy, you'll actually have to move your coins into Orchid, which is the shielded pool. And that's exactly what happened here, is that major vulnerability was at the shielded pool. Are you looking for your next mining pool or possibly a home to stay at for crypto mining? ViaBTC may have you covered. ViaBTC is a top tier in crypto mining pool founded in 2016. Now a full service mining ecosystem that lets miners mine, manage, borrow against, and cash out their crypto all in one place, with supported coins like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin and Doge merge mining, Zcash, Dash, and Castle mining. What else is there to mine? Now, a major new feature that has emerged is the collateral pledge loan. So you can pledge your BTC, Litecoin, Doge, or Bitcoin Cash to borrow against USDT without even selling your coins at a low rate of just 9.9% APR. Now, there are flexible limits from as low as 50 USDT with no upper cap. There is instant distribution, USDT in seconds after pledging, and you can borrow and repay at any time with daily interest. Combine Bitcoin, Litecoin, Doge, Bitcoin Cash all in one position. Position is a cash flow tool, not a yield product scenario. But keep in mind, crypto is very volatile. Sustainable to drops can increase losses or trigger liquidation. This is a liquidity tool, not financial advice or an investment product. Now, there's also an ambassador program where you can earn with ViaBTC up to 20% in referral commissions if you decide to sign up to their program and promote your link and things elsewhere. So check it out. Does BTC sound like it's something you may be looking for? Check their link down in the description. So according to some developers, that bug has been there since around 2022. It's been a while. It was all in the previous video here. And then a security researcher found it. And after that, he tested the environment. He could create counterfeit shielded Zcash. Very interesting. Again, testing environment, and none of this was on mainnet. So there's a big difference there. Obviously, you can do whatever you want in testnet. None of it will affect mainnet, but no one knows if anything actually happened on mainnet. So that's kind of what's going on right now. So there's a new hard fork that just released that's actually supposed to showcase everything that happened and if there's a possible supply drainage. So Ironwood, I believe, just released at, last night or yesterday, late at night or something. So it recently went through, and it's a pretty big hard fork, not just a normal hard fork. It's not adding any special features like faster transactions or lower fees or anything like some hard forks do. It is actually restructuring how Zcash actually handles its private shielded pool after Orchid vulnerability. So they're trying to actually fix this and everything. And it's also supposed to bring some new light of what's going on. So the old Orchid shielded pool is no longer accepting any new private funds. If someone wants to make a new shielded transaction, transaction after Ironwood, it goes into an entirely new shielded pool, not the old Orchard one. So they're kind of revamping everything that's going on here. So the old Orchard pool is now only like exit only. So the old pool isn't deleted. Instead, it becomes like a one-way door. Users can move funds out of Orchard, but they can't keep using it as before. Think of it as closing an old bank vault while allowing customers to withdraw what's already inside. So you kind of know what's going on here. You can't put nothing into it, but you can kind of pull things out of it. So this fork is essentially keeping track of how much real Zcash was ever deposited into the old Orchard pool. And then when coins leave Orchard, the turnstile checks them. So it's checking everything out that comes out, and it will never allow more ZEC to leave than legitimately went in. So that could be a bad thing, because think about it. Obviously when all this went through, the guy probably sold everything. But what if he didn't? What if a lot of that Zcash was still in there, and then now he pulls it all out? That means normal users could be stuck there and not be able to pull out their funds, because it's not going to allow extra funds to come out. So this could be very bad depending on the angle where things are. Now, obviously, if all that Zcash was already withdrawn, sold, and gone, that could have been the reason from a lot of the crashes earlier. But again, we don't know any types of those scenarios. And if you didn't really understand what I just said, let's put it a different way. Say there is 1 million ZEC. It entered Orchard over the whole lifetime there. And even if there is secretly 1.1 million Zcash sitting inside because of counterfeit creations, that 1 million original real Zcash is all that could ever come out. That means that 100,000 out of the 1.1 million that was there will never be able to be withdrawn, kind of trapping it and locking it there. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be any trapped or locked coins as time goes by. So what this fork is initially doing is the developers claim they're trying to restore supply integrity. So they're trying to maintain the same supply without all this inflation that could possibly would have happened from some sort of exploit that went on in the chain, but it could potentially screw over legit holders, as they may never get their funds out because the guy, whoever did some type of inflation, he could have pulled his coins out already. Or maybe he's watching this video and I go, uh-oh, I just, did this. And now he pulls his coins out before everyone else. And, this could also be, people might not use this anymore. It could cause almost like, we call rush on the bank, or, like that, where people were pulling out Monero to test the exchanges. He tests other coins. If people go insolvent at certain exchanges and stuff, people may rush to here to pull all their privacy coins out to make sure that they have them first in case there's that. So there's a whole bunch of different scenarios that could play out here. And I don't know, things could look very rough on the Zcash infrastructure moving forward. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. To pretty much simplify it, is we are still living with the after effects of what happened with that emergency fork. There's actually 4 little security flaws that happened there. Obviously, it's all due to AI and, bringing forth everything that was happening here. If we look back when Zcash actually had its big pump, which, I guess let's look in the year. Maybe this big sell-off was up in this area right here. It's hard to say, really hard to say what happened, but Zcash was pretty high. It did come back and return again, but for all we know, a lot of those coins could have been sold in some of these ranges here from an exploit. We just don't know. So what if they're locked up, not locked up? Our normal users going to get messed up? But overall, so this is now going to lock up any type of inflated coins here, and ultimately real users could be getting screwed over depending how this does play out. So what do you guys think about this? Is this going to harm Zcash moving into the future? Are people going to give up on it? And remember, it's like we went through the first one. There's only I can't even remember, 10% or less of the chain is actually private. Majority of Zcash is wide open transactions because people just use it like a normal blockchain. They're not really having anything private. So you got to remember that as well, as a lot of people are saying, oh, Zcash is awesome, it's private, blah, blah. But majority of all those people aren't even using it privately. They're using it wide open. So, there's a lot of misleading things happening here, especially when it comes to Zcash here. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on what's going on with this whole chain, how it's looking, and, what do you think the final result will be? Will Zcash continue to pump? Will it come down and pretty much go to zero? Will it ever see hype train again? These are very interesting, as we know all the Zcash miners are currently going to zero. Probability on them is dropping fast. Here we are at 12-cent power, only $17.80 a day. Remember, these things were at $60 to $70 a day at one point, and that's mostly because Bitmain finally released new batches, as there's a lot more hash rate that can actually come online now on top of the price going down. Before, we were locked into, there was a max hash rate and no more hash rate could come online, and Zcash was pumped because of all this, and now they decided to make new miners. So we're seeing a double whammy here with more miners actually being made now for Zcash, and the price coming down, and now a major critical flaw could be inflating the supply chain. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on the whole situation, guys, down in the comment section. I will see you guys on the next one. Rabid out.